Arguments for the Quickie is the 23rd episode of the 3rd season of 2.5 Men. This is directed by James Widdoes, and as always there will be spoilers from now as I go through the episode and share some thoughts. There are definitely some good moments, and I will highlight those, but it's not my favourite episode, and that's largely because I do not care about Mia. In fact, I really dislike Mia. I don't like her attitude. I don't think she's a very nice person. I think she's very self-centred, and I don't think she's good for Charlie. So I don't like her, and I don't like her involvement in this episode, but there are some other things that I did like. It starts off in the kitchen. Jake is wearing a hat, and then Alan points out that there's an article in the paper that says Mia's dance troupe is in town. And Charlie pretends to not care, but it's very clear by his actions that he does care. And then Jake points out that Mia phoned last week, and he kind of forgot to pass the message on, and we find out that Mia wants Charlie to go to the theatre to see her dance performance, and Charlie says he isn't going to go. And Berta and Alan's face, or their faces, when Charlie goes off on one about how she'll try and cure him and change him and all of these things, their expressions were absolutely fantastic. I enjoyed that a lot. Charlie is then in a bar while everybody else is at the performance, and somebody wants to get off with him, and he basically just talks about exactly what will happen with going home, then going to sleep, then bringing her coffee and asking her to leave, and he decides to just skip all of that. And I don't know if it shows a sign of maturity or if it shows a sign of desperation, that he just wants Mia and nobody else will be good enough, or if it maybe shows a sign of depression, that he's not feeling great, and that whenever he thinks about the one that got away, this is where he turns to. So I think there are a lot of different ways to read that. I'm not 100% sure where I'm settling with that. But Charlie ultimately decides to go to the ballet. Jake and Kandi are both asleep, but Charlie turns up with some flowers, and then afterwards he goes backstage and he talks to Mia, and Mia says that she wants to talk with him. And we get a little bit of suspense, and I do think the suspense here is very well done. I think the pacing of the narrative in general is really effective. And then we see Charlie prepping the house. It's dimly lit, there are candles everywhere. I did really like the performance when he was lighting everything and then going around puffing out all of the candles. It was a small thing, but it amused me. And then Mia turns up, and we still get some suspense about why she's there and what she wants to talk to Charlie about. We establish first that she doesn't want money and that she doesn't want to get back together. So what could it possibly be? We as the viewer get a couple of seconds, a good few seconds, to try and come up with some theories. And she tells him that she wants his sperm because she wants to have a baby. And no, she will not do it the old-fashioned way. She's ruled that out, which I respect. And Charlie, although he would rather do it the old-fashioned way, has agreed to go ahead with this. He does wake up Alan in the middle of the night. We have an odd moment with Kandi asleep beside Alan, chasing a rabbit, apparently, in her sleep, which is slightly bizarre. And Alan does make a good point towards the end of that scene where he asks Charlie, if you're so sure about this, why did you wake me up in the middle of the night? And we don't sit with this for too long in that scene. We as the viewers, I think, are kind of left to think about that on our own for a little bit, because we then cut immediately to the clinic. Alan is there to support Charlie. Charlie is ready to do what he needs to do into the little cup. And while Alan is flicking through magazines, it's quite quickly that a lot of time has passed and Charlie just can't do it. And it's clear that maybe what Alan said has affected him. Maybe he started to think about this more. But then he goes to see Mia, and he confesses that he couldn't do it. And to Mia's credit, I expected, just based on the history of the character and how self-centered she is, I expected her to be more outwardly annoyed than she was. So credit where it's due. I think her reaction to Charlie saying he couldn't do it was reasonable, because up until this point, it definitely seemed like if she didn't get her own way, she would have a bit of a temper tantrum. And she didn't do that. She accepted that actually Charlie didn't want to have a kid out there if he wasn't able to raise the kid and see the kid. And I think that it also shows some really great character development for Charlie. However, what happens at the very end of the episode, I hate, because I don't like Mia. And initially it seemed like he was going to yet again suggest doing it the old-fashioned way. And instead, he asks Mia to marry him. And then we have those 3 little words popping up on the screen, to be continued. And I wish it wasn't. I don't like Mia at all. The next episode, I'm not looking forward to it. But even when there are episodes of 2.5 Men that I don't care for, we still have funny scenes, we still have strong performances. There'll be enough there for me to enjoy. I can't remember exactly how the next episode plays out, because it has been a while since I've seen it. I do remember bits and pieces, but I can't remember exactly how I feel about it, so I guess I will go in with an open mind. But nothing will change the fact that I don't like Mia. Arguments for the Quickie definitely isn't my favourite episode, but that being said, there are still some pretty decent moments.